recording? You recording? Hit it. Bunch of animals.
Welcome to the Grappling With Podcast. Dr. Chris Hardy and William Walker will take a deep dive into topics covering wellness and prevention, performance, recovery, and injury management. Our mission is to provide the latest science-based information to help you get the most out of your grappling journey, both on and off the mats, and help you overcome any challenges you may be grappling with. Dr. Hardy is a licensed physician and BJJ practitioner, but the contents of the podcast are meant for educational purposes only and should not be taken as medical advice. Please seek out personalized care from your own medical provider prior to implementing any medical treatment or intervention.
Bill is a licensed buffoon. He says things that are a little squirrely. Do not hold these things against his gym mates, his family, Chris Hardy, Harry Hardy, or anybody at his gym.
You can hold them against me.
I was going to say, I should take your name out of there.
You should, because you hold them against me all the time.
I'll leave Carrie.
I would, for your own safety.
Yes. Take you out.
That's fine.
And then put your personal email in there.
That'd be good.
All
just
concerns.
Dox me right away, right? Like, and here's his address.
Right. Come out to the sticks.
Yeah, if you want to get out here.
Hi, Chris.
How you doing, Bill? How you feeling, man?
I'm okay. I'm a little stuffy.
Yeah.
Got some snot in my nose.
You also have, I don't know if people can see, Liv, if you can pull down your shirt a little bit. He had
Oh, it looks orange.
Yeah.
It does.
I got bit. I got bit by a zombie, an Arab zombie.
Yeah. So
fungal.
The same guy, the same perpetrator got me about 3 weeks ago, right here.
Yeah, some people call him a good storyteller after our podcast that we had with him.
Not naming any names.
Not naming any Arab names. The most popular name in the world.
Oh my gosh!
But we'll just let you think about that.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy because it's a gi burn. It's not. Some people thought it was a toe or a
no. It looks like a gi burn,
but I think because of the swiping nature, it looks like a scratch. But
it looks like a Bravo choke.
There's actual chunks of my skin missing.
Yeah.
Like, so people that are just listening, I got probably a 7-inch gi burn across my neck. It looks like someone tried hanging me.
Looks kind of like a crooked smile.
Yeah. It was pretty gnarly when I got it.
Is that from a Bravo grip, you think?
Actually, no. He didn't get into a Bravo or a lapel choke.
Really?
Like a back choke thing. I mean, you were watching the round.
I was.
We never got into that. I honestly had...
Maybe you did it to yourself.
So there's a chance.
You start playing with that lapel and it got away from you.
Hold that thing out and you never know where it's going to go.
Oh my God.
But it looks fairly gnarly.
Yeah.
I got a lot of hickey jokes.
Really?
Yeah. Which is a weird one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
like anybody that could leave a hickey like that, I'd be like,
yeah,
I don't think they're human.
Borderline squid.
Right?
Exactly. That's pretty funny. So good. You're doing a little better. Had a little bit of the crud.
It's like that lingering little, just a lot of snot.
I know. I hate it.
Barely sore, like my throat's was just barely like tickly, but more so just the snot. So you might hear it a little bit here today.
That's all right. A couple of episodes ago, I was basically mouth breathing. So.
Yeah. And then last week, I think we just got busy. We just had some work, like schedule-wise. It
happens, dude.
Yeah, so we apologize for missing a week there.
I got a lot of people like, where's the...
Oh, jeez.
People were very upset.
I had this... I almost said a bad thing. I had this guy that impersonates Jason Momoa. He thinks he's like... He literally thinks he's him.
Mm-hmm.
And he has complained a couple times now about, where's my podcast? Where's my podcast? I'm going to unsubscribe.
Oh, my God.
He threatened me today with that.
Did he?
Yeah. Which there's a question that came from this little mini group chat that I have. It's called the Fofoka Crew.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't that mean talking shit? Isn't that basically what it means?
I mean,
gossip?
we'll take that translation.
But it's close.
Yes. Gossip.
Okay.
Kind of.
Gossip. Okay.
And so it's our little gossip group chat.
Jeez, God, dude. Please do not include me in that.
Yeah. Well, you're a topic.
I figured it was. Jeez, dude.
So I just want to kick this podcast off with a question that came.
I like it
from there.
Okay.
Because you have a group, a mini cult, if you will, that you've started within our gym.
Oh, no.
I didn't start this thing.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Let me tell you, there's a whole story behind it.
I'd love to hear that.
Okay. So our professor actually inadvertently kicked this thing off.
Uh-huh.
And I think you were back last year, as a matter of fact, right around this time, we were down at Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's one of the biggest,
Yeah.
BJJ tournaments in the Northwest.
Yeah.
Great tournament, really well done. Shout out to Jeff. Just a great. Anyway, so I was down there helping him coach, and we were between competitors. So we went outside, and it's at a fairgrounds. It's a really nice venue.
Yeah.
And
Doesn't sound like it when you say fairgrounds.
no, but this is.
But it's very nice.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
Plenty of space. Anyway, we walked
Scones.
right out. Yeah, really good scones. Walked right outside, and they have this little place with the trees and a little benches underneath it. And we were sitting there, and our professor goes, "Hey, look, here you can even feed the ducks here, Chris."
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that I'm old, and then
You just
old,
go to the park.
Old people go to
Yeah.
the park and like to feed ducks.
Right.
That kind of stuck, unfortunately,
Yes.
for me. So instead of fighting it, I leaned into it.
Mm,
And I got a duck patch.
you did.
I put it on my gi so then I could put some shoulder pressure and say, I'm feeding the ducks now,
Yeah.
son. You know, that type
Yeah.
of, just talking crap.
Duck
right?
you.
Well, I didn't say that. And then, and this is all true. So this isn't here, I'm not throwing shade at my professor. He knows it's true.
Mm.
I think we were during rolling, after class, we have the hour of open mat kind of rolling, whatever you want to do. And I was sitting against the wall with him, and he was like, "Hey, is that one of your ducklings?" It's people that I've been working with, white belts coming up.
Mm.
So then that stuck,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so then I'm like, okay. So I got duck patches, basically.
That's when it got weird.
It did get, well, like I said, I leaned into it. Probably went a little overboard.
I mean, the whole initiation part, that was when it got a little overboard.
We don't, no, that's
Did
like,
I just-
it's, hold on.
Was that a
that's
secret
like
I
fight,
dropped?
That's like Fight Club.
I did not mean to tell everyone that.
You don't talk about Fight Club. You don't talk about duck initiation.
Probably. I'm sorry.
Okay. There is no initiation, just so.
Yeah, there's none.
None.
No robes,
No,
tiki torches.
no wizard outfits.
Yeah, no, that's not real.
Anyway, effigies of ducks. No. But anyway, so then it became a thing. And now we have, and I'm assuming that's the background. So
Yes.
now
And now there's a bunch of poor children walking around the gym with duck patches on their gis.
they're not children, they're adults.
They're children in their mind.
Okay.
One of them's a surgeon, but it doesn't matter. He's a child.
He is a surgeon.
So a question came from our little Fofoka group, and is, what's your stance on a new faction that is formed at Cascade Jiu-Jitsu called Duck Hunters, aka Duck Dynasty, led by Professor Andrea's husband?
I didn't know about this group.
Is asking me my stance on it?
Yeah, what's your stance
I've
on
told-
Duck Dynasty / Duck Hunters?
I've told this young man who is trying to hunt my ducks, he thinks it's hilarious to say, if I see a duck patch, I'm going duck hunting.
Right. Right. And he
The whole
quacks.
thing's supposed to be, but now he's into
He's taking
it.
it serious.
Very serious.
What's your stance on that?
Well, I showed him my stance last weekend.
What does that mean?
We rolled.
You trying to say?
That's all I'm going to say. He knows what happened.
Wow. It's aggressive.
I am 30 pounds heavier than he is. So.
Well, not now. He just got back from vacation.
A little chubby.
Little is excessive on usage there.
You're saying
chubby.
I undersold it?
Yeah, I mean, he's easily 180 pounds right now.
He's not 180 pounds.
I could barely put a body triangle on him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it. then.
Yeah. I'm not saying he tapped to a body triangle. There's no one that taps
My
to body
my
triangles.
stance on it, I think it's hilarious. this whole thing is funny as long as it remains funny,
Right.
and lighthearted.
So when do people start getting hurt?
They never. If people start getting hurt, we're shutting that down. I'm ripping duck. Excuse me, if I can speak. We're ripping duck patches off that whole thing.
Okay.
Right now, it's a funny thing that started out, has kind of a funny backstory.
Until you get hurt because someone takes their duck patch off and joins the Duck Dynasty.
They can do whatever they want. I don't care what.
Don't act tough. You would be bawling.
No, I really wouldn't.
If it was Jonathan.
No,
Shut your mouth.
I think it'd be funny.
If Jonathan took his duck patch off,
Yeah, who cares?
you'd cry immediately.
No,
You're a crier. I know it. Okay.
you're trying to stir up drama. I see.
A little bit. It's
I like
part
it.
of the Fofoka thing.
Okay.
So today is just kind of like random question day.
Okay.
Just random topics.
Was that your secret question?
That was a secret
Oh
question.
my God, that's a letdown.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Were you let down too?
Yeah.
Me too. I'm a little let down. I thought it was
a
gonna be
little
more
bit.
juicy.
I thought it was going to be another question. I did think it was going to be about ducks, but I didn't.
Well, that question came directly from, actually, and that wasn't from Professor Andrea's husband.
He was a black belt himself, but we call him Professor Andrea's husband.
Yeah, because
She's
out.
obviously
All right, I thought we were calling him LB.
Little Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
That's a nice nickname. But I like saying Professor Andrea's husband.
I do too because I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. Because she highly outranks him
Oh, for sure.
in many ways.
In many ways.
Yeah, not just.
Absolutely.
So I got almost like a riddle for you. Have you ever heard? It's kind of an offensive game, with like that you do with like Oprah Winfrey, Hillary Clinton, and Michelle Obama. Have you ever heard those jokes? You have to marry one, kill one.
And
Yeah,
yeah. No, I've heard the jokes,
Okay.
of course.
I have something like that.
Oh God.
But for,
Wasn't this in a movie?
I think it was.
What movie was this in?
Yeah.
You know what it was?
Go.
It was Horrible Bosses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have one that is you have to ban one move from jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
You got to teach one move to like a newbie. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only have one move, like one go-to.
Oh, this is actually good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thought about it on the toilet.
As most of your genius ideas go.
Shut your mouth.
Just saying.
Ban one, teach one, and have one that's your go-to. And that doesn't mean it's like something that's already in your bag. Like, you know, we all know your pressure sucks, so maybe you just want to have good pressure.
Okay. Okay. God damn. I'm going to roll with you. Wait till we get to roll. Anyway, if I can trap your squirrely self down, we're going to go at it. Anyway, ban one.
Yeah.
Lapel guard.
Really?
Yep.
No, you're just being dumb.
This is my response.
I think he's being honest, Bill.
Okay.
I like how you said that. Okay.
Okay.
Just a move. Doesn't have to be like a system of moves.
No,
it
no,
could be anything.
Yeah, like if you
I
want
know
to
I
teach
did
a scissor sweep to
Sure.
a new guy, like I'm going to teach him that. Well, what's one thing you would teach? A go-to. Got to teach him this.
That was actually a good one you suggested.
What did I teach? Oh, scissors.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good for a new person.
Yeah. And it can't be like have a good base.
No,
it's a
I know.
move.
So, I'm with you. How about John Wayne sweep?
Okay. So people don't know it's like a half guard.
Mm-hmm. A little hip
cheeky.
switch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I like it. Now you get one move. It's your ace in the hole.
One position.
Not position, it's a move.
Okay. I like the far side from north-south arm trap paper cutter.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah. You start in north-south, then you kind of go over to the other side.
Swim under an arm and then lay on that arm and trap them and then kind of
Yeah.
Wait for them to tire out and submit them.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can also pull them into an arm bar and pull them into your lap for a even nastier paper cutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
That's good.
You want me to ask you?
No, I want you to ask Olivia and stop being a part of the patriarchy.
No, dude, I'm over 50 and I'm male, dude.
You
I'm
had a plantation.
I
Didn't
am. Oh, damn. I bet you some of my family members said, unfortunately. Good God. Yeah, I am. My ancestry is from the South, unfortunately.
Well, you can pay me some reparations because I'm 1% something.
1%.
1%.
1%. And if they had reparations for dumbasses, man, you would be on top of the list.
It's Dumas.
Dumas. That's great. Okay, Olivia,
What do you got?
what would you teach?
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. What would you ban?
Okay.
Yeah.
The move I would ban would be stacking.
Ooh.
I like it.
Like
Okay.
that over the top stacking where
Yeah.
it's like
Putting someone up on their neck.
yeah, it's not technical. It's just I'm freaking out, so I'm going to try to hurt you.
Man, I like that one. Okay.
Move I would teach Ezekiel.
Ooh, another good one.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yep.
Yep, I like it.
Simple and effective.
Yeah.
And only move would be matrix to back take.
Holy smokes.
What?
That's just fancy.
Well, next time I roll through, I'm just going to watch out and just defend that the whole time.
Yeah.
It's a good move.
It's
It
a
is
really
so
good.
good.
It
I'm
is
like,
good.
It's a sneaky little devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can get that leg around, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be able to roll up on your shoulders
I
a
guess
little
it would
bit.
be
Have.
K guard to matrix to back
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a nice sequence. Okay.
Yeah.
But a nice little back take.
I like
Yeah.
it. Cool.
The banning move is a hard one. And I was actually leaning a little bit towards
The stack.
it's actually a mix between you guys. You know where you can maybe you throw someone in a triangle or
From guard?
you're on bottom, and then they just put that forearm across your neck and they start like just turning.
You talking about Carrie's move?
Does she do that?
Hell yeah, she does
She
that.
usually just shucks the legs aside.
Dude, have you gotten on that heat before when she puts that arm across the neck?
I don't know if I have.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I've had Rashawn do it to me plenty of times.
Good God.
And because Rashawn and Carrie are like spirit animals where they beg you to try to triangle them.
They do.
They'll like slip $1
Carrie
into your
will
gi.
bait you into a triangle. Yeah, for sure.
And then apparently they both go for this little forearm choke.
Or arm bars. She likes doing that with arm bars too.
Yeah. No, it's not that I think it doesn't work. It's just it sucks so bad that I hate it. And if you're bigger than me, you're going to be able to do it to me most likely.
It's no fun.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yep.
Because I feel like I can like capture triangles pretty well.
You can.
But if they do that,
Yeah.
it's just I abandon ship.
I don't throw them up on Carrie anymore at all.
Either do I.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I do, it's like, or even to Rashawn or someone like that. I go into like that dirty triangle position or diamond position.
Yes.
And my whole goal is just to attack the arm.
That's
I don't
smart.
even want to do a triangle.
Matter of fact, one of Carrie's highest compliments she gives is, "Oh man, they got me in a triangle." Like,
Yeah.
there's a couple people that can still snag
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, so I'm with you. I like that for a band.
If I was going to teach one thing, I feel like it would be some sort of stand-up technique, like an arm drag.
Of course you would.
Why?
Of course you would.
Excuse you.
I thought you were gonna say foot sweep.
Yeah.
Thought
Did you
about
see? I knew you would.
Thought about it.
I thought.
Because there's not much more beautiful than the ashiwaza.
Oh my gosh, Bill.
We had this whole thing about pretentious stuff, dude. He's
Yeah, he's super pretentious.
Ashiwaza. I've been working
He's gonna
on
get
my
that
accent.
tattooed on him.
I might. Right across the old collarbone. I'll use this as like a template. Ashiwaza.
should put it on your lower back.
What are you trying to
right
say?
by the tailbone.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know. I'm not trying to say anything.
Yeah, you're trying to say something. Some people have that kind of a tattoo, and it's not bad, all right?
It's okay.
Josh Neer. Remember him?
I thought you were going to say Josh Haggerty.
Dude, you're crazy, dude. You're talking about the dentist?
Yeah. Yeah, Josh Neer. He has a huge lower back tattoo.
It's unfortunate.
Okay. and then have one move. I think this has probably changed my whole life. But right now, being able to wrestle up.
Oh,
That was amazing.
God,
I knew you were going to say
dude.
that because you said
That's telekinesis.
No.
That's telekinesis.
No. Okay.
Right?
We purposefully use the term telekinesis in the inappropriate, wrong.
It's not inappropriate.
It's not the right.
She was in my brain.
That's
and
not the
took
correct
it.
term for it. Telekinesis, I think, has to do with like lifting things.
Yeah, it's exactly correct.
You're both fucking stupid. How about that?
So what does kinesis mean, Bill?
I didn't mean that, Liv.
What does kinesis mean? Kinetic. What does kinesis mean?
Yeah, kinetic. I just said it.
It means moving.
Right. Like she's moving what's in my head to hers.
Telekinesis is exactly what she said. It's a fictional thing, but theoretically, it's moving something with your
Read a
look
book.
at him. Look at him.
Read a book. Watch X-Men.
Like, you can't tell her to read a book.
I know.
It's true.
How many books have you read this year so far?
8 or 9. Not a whole lot.
So dumb.
It's so dumb. Freaking reading just sucks.
I knew
watched
you were
way
going to
more
say
YouTube
that, Bill,
videos.
though, because you recently talked about how you've been loving it. And I'm just like, okay. The thing that I despise.
The ability to go from bottom to top. I'm not saying it's undervalued, but people ain't trusting it that it's good. I'm not obviously like that's one of the main things I would say Andrew puts in his curriculum is getting to dogfight and wrestling and stuff like that. I've just been fat and lazy.
I thought you were going to say technical lift. You love using those.
That's a really good one too. Kind of a form of wrestling up almost. But yeah, there you go.
Okay.
You're welcome.
And that's all you're doing. You're wrestling up. No other moves.
Well, obviously I can go wrestle up to arm drag.
No, you can't do it. You only have one move.
Well, I'm saying if I put together my whole list.
I'm so sorry, honey, but yours might have been the more boring out of all of ours. Wrestle up.
Boredom is in the eye of the beholder.
Like a takedown, just.
Well, I'm sorry. What do you want me to say? Gosh. I can't.
She did have a cool one, though.
Yeah. I see everyone expects something flashy. Like you were probably like, he's going to say worm guard.
No, I already banned that.
So I can't say it. 'cause
You can't say it. I banned it. I went first.
I hate you. How about that?
That's fine.
How about this? Slamming. Is it good, bad, ugly? Should it be banned from competition?
Are we talking about, let's say someone gets you in an arm bar or a triangle from guard and you pick them up off the ground?
So that's good to kind of
What are we talking about?
separate because
We're talking about a double leg.
slamming out of submissions or what they call mat returning, right? Or even, which is like in wrestling, right? You get behind someone,
Yeah.
lift them, slam. Or like a drop seonagi, like a judo throw that really throws them to the ground.
So slamming out of submissions, I don't think is a way to get hurt, especially if someone doesn't know better than to let go. You saw this in, you've seen people get knocked out before. The classic Quentin Rampage Jackson one. Yeah. Rose Namajunas she held on to something she shouldn't have.
Also a very popular one is
Carlos Newton. Yep. Matt Hughes. Yep.
Similar to the Rampage.
The thing is, if you don't, you can be in a bad position where you can't adjust as well. You don't have as many degrees of freedom. You know what I mean?
We just saw that at ADCC Trials also, which was Burkchak. He's the 10th Planet Tucson instructor. He fought in the UFC. He's kind of a cagey grappler, MMA guy against Gianni Grippo. Gianni was on his back, and he decides to do a super aggressive front roll.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
And he basically spiked Gianni Grippo.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that at all. Now, mat returns, takedowns,
Just a part of it.
part of the sport.
Like how Bo Nickel grabbed Gordon
Totally. Yeah.
to Suplex City.
Yep.
What about the Marcelo versus Rico Rodriguez? Historic match. Open weight division. Rico's about 300. Marcelo's 170.
That was rough, though.
Grabs his back. Yeah.
And then he just basically launches himself and lands on him.
Yeah, he intentionally jumped straight up in the air
And landed on his back.
It was like a reverse belly flop.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Again, you're trying to do that out of a submission.
And the reason that he got in trouble is because he wasn't in a submission, I believe.
But or I'm just saying a compromised position, like a back take.
Right.
What do you think about how Fight to Win awards points and people slam
not a
and
fan.
slam and slam and slam?
Not a fan.
No.
Nope.
Even if they have a floating mat to like compensate, because
Doesn't matter, dude. I don't care how much their mat's floating. You get the wrong angle on someone's neck.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter.
You'd prefer to have it banned.
Well, I mean, what are we talking about here?
Right?
I mean, to me, if you're up on your feet, you suplex someone, or their arms and legs are free.
Yeah.
Okay, when you're locked up in something like you're locking up a triangle and someone picks you up off the ground,
Sure.
you can be at a bad angle, and it's really hard to stop that from hurting yourself. I mean, I think you're more compromised.
Yeah.
People might say I'm a wuss or whatever. No, I'm looking at this from a longevity perspective. I don't think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's my personal opinion.
Yeah. I tend to agree with a little exception,
Okay.
which is I think I would like to see it probably not allowed until it's a legit pro level event.
Mm.
And even so, okay, pro level in Nogi is kind of difficult to quantify, right? Because the belt systems are gone. Like purple belt, you can be a purple belt and be an absolute pro.
Right.
So kind of have to take the belt systems out of there in Nogi.
Mm-hmm.
In gi, I would probably say purple or brown and up if it's a pro level show. Now that doesn't mean I don't consider IBJJF Opens a pro level show. I think there needs to be money and stuff like that to
pro.
Yeah.
The actual definition.
But some people might call the Los Angeles Open a pro level tournament because there's really good people that go to it.
I understand.
But I would say that's one requirement to make it allowable. And it's, once again, not all levels. There's intermediate, advanced, and stuff like that. So advanced and pro. Number two, the event needs to be prepared for it. I think when they allow that kind of stuff, like at ADCC trials, they're allowing, because that's one of their rules, is if you're in a submission, you can't slam your way out. On 3-inch mats on cement floor is crazy.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it from a medical perspective, too.
Yeah. I mean, there was a guy he was in a buggy choke at the ADCC West Coast trials, and he slammed the guy, and the dude was down for probably 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's not good, man.
Couldn't move. They had to gurney him out.
No, it's not.
I think he ended up being okay, but
but it's not.
that's crazy.
It's just, that's a perfect example. You're all tied up. Your limbs are tied up in a buggy choke. It's really hard sometimes it's really hard to even untangle yourself fast enough.
Oh yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, people will argue, well, what about a street fight? Well, first of all, I wouldn't be throwing up a damn triangle from my guard in
or a buggy choke
street fight, man. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I mean, so I don't think that argument really holds well. I mean, I think, but as far, excuse me, man, I'm having a real rough. I think you spread something to me.
We shouldn't have made out before this.
Oh, damn it. As far as, part of the wrestling, kind of, the different possibilities from wrestling for takedowns or judo. I mean, it's part of the art. And I think there's, like I said, there's more degrees of freedom with your limbs that you can kind of adjust yourself a little better.
Yeah. Do you think there should be age limitations? Meaning if you're over, if you're over the age of 30 or 35, they should ban slams because you're more likely to get injured as an older person?
Well,
I could actually agree with that. So when I say pro level, if you're Cyborg Abreu, you're 42 years old, and you're deciding to do the adult pro division, that's his choice, and he would understand those rules. Right. But at let's say Masters, if he decided to do Masters 3, then I wouldn't I
So,
wouldn't have. Just like the heel hook thing in Masters no-gi black belt, no heel hooks. In adult, there is.
Got it. And that makes sense. But I think the biggest problem I have medically is the head and neck.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, because you can get CTE.
Right.
You can get those people underestimate those repeated. If that's part of kind of the the competition.
Yeah.
Is
where
CTE the same as TBI?
Yeah. So
Similar?
CTE is the syndrome. It's a cumulative traumatic encephalopathy.
Mm-hmm.
TBI is on a spectrum. Traumatic brain injury is on a spectrum from just kind of getting your head rattled a little bit to severe, like, skull fractures. So traumatic brain injury over time, repeated, otherwise known as concussion, repeated over time, they lead to CTE. It's a cumulative disorder, right? So if you start having people, as young people competing regularly, and that's part of it is, the slamming, you're basically contributing to development of CTE over time when you don't have to, is my point.
Right. So you sit down when you pee.
It's like, don't fall over.
That was more so questioning your manhood, but yeah.
You have to make all kinds of, little, as you age, little concessions and alterations of,
Yeah, for sure.
It's far to fall when you're standing up.
You have one of those little bars next to it.
Exactly. You got to lower onto that bidet nice and slow.
Yeah. We got that extra high toilet with our squatty potty.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an interesting thing. I would like to, if people can comment what they think. Is Chris being a big fat wuss? Am I a monster?
Both are possibilities.
That's true. A little bit of both.
For sure.
But I would be interested to see it. So part of my thought is I'm more of a less rules person. So like I wouldn't mind heel hooks in the gi in like pro level.
Got it.
Like black belt level or even brown belt level. I think the extra bite that you can get and friction can also be nullified by extra grips and stuff like that.
I know, but those are two different arguments, aren't they?
Right. No, yeah, I'm just kind of saying as in like I kind of...
Because I'm with you on that.
I encourage a little bit less restrictions.
Sure.
But at the same time, like if I was in the adult division, I wouldn't, or at some point I would like to compete in the black belt adult division. I don't want to get slammed.
If you get your ACL torn or MCL meniscus tears because of a heel hook and a gi, it sucks, right? And you have, maybe surgery, rehab, and all that. But if you have a catastrophic neck injury,
right?
I mean, that's where I'm talking about. That the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
It's not just a year out.
It could be life, life threatening. It could be, there's all kinds of. That's what I'm talking about. Everything's a risk benefit analysis.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And that's where I think, even on because obviously this conversation isn't going to change what some events do, but I think it's some of those events. Yeah. Well, I'm sure Mo Jassam's listening. Shout out to Mo Jassam.
I'm sure he's just writing notes as we speak.
And I think making the floating floors for events that have slams is you got to do it.
Like WWE.
At the bare. Yes. And to your point, you see how jacked up those dudes are?
I was wondering.
Oh, yeah.
Because they get slammed
Oh, my God.
the time on their back.
They are wrecks.
All of them
They have CTE.
Walk.
They have multiple joint. Yeah, they're so. Anyway.
Oh, well, that's a prime example. Why not to?
Oh,
that's all I'm saying.
Guess I lose.
You lose this one, Bill.
Chalk it up.
No, but if someone has a well thought out counter to that,
I would like to just hear what other people think.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you kind of like me, where you understand that there's a lot of negative to it, but you like to keep a little bit of that purity, but or maybe you're on kind of Chris's side where you're thinking, it's just not worth the squeeze. It's like we're going to take that out of it.
But it's not just the competition, though. If it's legal in competition, it's going to work its way into the training room.
Yeah, that's true.
True. Yeah.
And that's all I'm worried about.
Yeah. And that's where most injuries really happen.
Correct.
What were we going to say, Liv?
Well, was this part of Japanese jiu-jitsu?
I don't know.
Because you said purity, so.
Purity of the combat sport.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If not necessarily the tradition of.
More vale tudo kind of.
I guess. Because
But then that's just like no holds bar, and
Yeah,
they
where do you-
also allowed knees to the groin and poking the eyes. So what are we?
I want it all.
Okay.
I'm joking. I don't know. Touche. How about that? How about this? Because I've been getting a lot of shit lately.
What, you're looking for me for sympathy? Is that what that look was for?
You're my friend.
Okay.
Your mom pays me every week to come here. So we're friends.
Okay.
If you don't spar, does that count? Does that really count as you trained that day?
Bill throws the mic away like this. Yes, it counts.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you being a wuss?
Let's look at this. What is this? What are the circumstances? Why aren't you sparring?
Well,
If that's your normal thing, like I just want to go to class, I don't want to do any of that.
yeah,
It's probably not. That's going to hurt your progression big time.
true.
But if you're coming off of an illness or an injury and you just want to work some technique and just drill a little bit, that's training.
Okay.
Sparring, it's not mutually exclusive. It doesn't have to be there. But I think it's a very important part, especially in this martial art. It's very important, the sparring.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you're not training. It depends on, if you're, like I said, if you're one of those people that are like, no, I just don't want to spar. Well, you're probably in the wrong sport.
True.
So
Unless there's some sort of maybe physical ailment that.
for sure. And that happens. I've done that before when I've been hurt.
Yeah.
Or I've been like, man, I feel like I'm coming down, just feeling run down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still think that you still consider yourself that you trained that day though?
Yeah, of course. As opposed to sitting at home and eating ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Some people feel differently.
Well,
Really? Who?
I don't want to say names.
Is it you?
No. I'm the one getting shit about it.
I'll just put it on record.
Because one day
I want to hear their freaking argument.
well, you can barely understand
Oh wait,
them.
hold on. I think I know who you're talking about.
So
Oh, I know who you're talking about. It just hit me.
Let's not out them because I don't know and I don't
giving
want to
me
know.
crap. Anyways.
Okay, just for perspective, this person basically would never have trained then.
And by the way,
No, you're probably thinking of the wrong person.
What? No.
they're probably saying that just to give you shit, not because they really believe that.
Well, it stings.
Okay. If I had to guess, I don't think they really
Yeah.
believe that. I think they're just
You know what
trying
it
to get
was?
something on you.
So I take a photo every time I train and I put it on Instagram because I
No,
want
we're
to.
talking about the same person.
Because you're a
so.
narcissist?
Yes, we are.
I am not a narcissist.
Does this person have a black belt?
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about the same person.
Stop right now.
We're talking about the same
What's
person.
their address? Jeez, gosh. No one's ever
I
going
was
to talk to you
literally there
again.
for that conversation.
Okay, well,
Bill.
let's not out them on the
So,
podcast,
anyways,
though. That's hilarious.
So I take a photo because
Okay.
I want to keep track of how many times I train throughout the year.
Okay.
And I just put on Instagram stories and I
I'll allow it.
highlight. Okay. And so I put a number and then I save it. Right.
Oh, so this is a personal issue that we're.
This is very
That's
personal.
why we're asking this question.
I see.
I'm a little salty.
I know where we're going
I
with
drank a Mountain Dew before I came in. And I'm ready to fight.
this. Okay.
So they came to one of my classes.
Is that their pronoun?
Actually, I think it's he, him.
Okay, so then you've had more than one person say this to you then.
No.
Okay.
Just he,
Let's
him.
stop.
So they came, I was covering Andrew on a night class once, and they were there, and I think I only did one or maybe two sparring rounds after.
Oh, you were teaching.
Well, yeah, I taught, and then
I understand.
I did that, but what happens is, and Andrew will attest to this, and actually you will as well.
I will.
Is you get asked a lot of questions.
Yep.
Especially if you are someone that's willing to engage with lower belts.
And you feel a little responsibility for the whole running of that class there, as you should. So you want to make sure the mats are safe. And
Yes.
I got it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And then they noticed I posted a photo that night,
Okay.
and they took issue with it. and say, I won't even try the accent.
Okay, go ahead.
They said that it shouldn't count. And then they started questioning all of my pictures of how often do
Whether
you
they're
really
legit.
train?
Now, if you put on your gi
Uh-huh.
and sit on your couch
Uh-huh.
and take a picture and put it on,
Done
and
it.
don't right,
Yep.
but don't
No,
actually
it
go in and to the academy and
Uh-huh.
do any kind of training, then
Okay.
they would have a point.
Okay.
But if you went in there and taught a class, I'm sure you showed a bunch of people some stuff, got down and demonstrated things.
I believe it was a class where I hugged you for about 3 minutes in the beginning.
I remember that class very fondly.
Yep.
It was a little awkward at about.
We gathered about 35 people around us, and we got chest to chest on our knees.
You
everyone.
said you were demonstrating something,
Yeah.
but it went on a little too long.
Let me bring this up.
Okay.
So what I
Just
was
switch subjects.
what I was
I know.
what I was saying was a lot of the time in sparring, especially if it's a full room, and honestly, in some gyms, it's just cultural. People, especially lower belts, they will start both on their knees,
Right.
which I understand because it's too packed, falling body weight. You don't want accidents.
Right.
And what happens is you get two people essentially bullfighting, like two bulls from their knees, jockeying for position. I think that is not good. I think that will build, one, bad habits. Two, it's not realistic because you are literally never both on your knees jockeying for.
One person would probably pull guard.
Oh, typically, yeah.
Yeah.
Like how often whether it's a sparring or
Right.
a match, are you both on your knees?
Right.
You're taking away basically every takedown, whether judo or wrestling.
Sure.
Right. And so I think you build a little bit of bad habits. You just burp in my face?
I did. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
It's pretty rough.
You're a monster. That also smells like the inside of a fake leg.
It's probably worse than that. Some kind of seasoned hamburger meat.
Yeah. Beef and cheese.
No cheese. Sorry.
So I see this and I think it builds bad habit. And I don't think it's
Where are you
great.
going with this?
I'm talking about what the demonstration I did with you.
Oh,
So,
yes.
I was teaching that class. You were my uke.
He got so off track. That
I
we
brought
didn't
35 people. That was about how many people were in the class, and we circled them around us, and I had you get on your knees, and I got on my knees, and we just hugged each other.
Yeah, but that's why it was weird, because it wasn't like we were trying to jockey for a position. You were just hugging me.
You hugged me too. You put your cheek on my shoulder.
Yeah.
You committed to the position.
I was your uke. I'm trying
Yes,
to
it was good.
support you.
And we just held each other for probably 30 seconds, I would say, with nothing said. And 30 seconds is a lot longer.
25 seconds too long.
And 30 seconds can be fairly long when there's 35 people and just two guys.
No noise.
Yeah,
It
no
was
noise.
very
Pin
awkward.
drop. And I just sat there because I really wanted to send the
Was there
message.
new people in the class? Because, dear Lord,
You know what? I don't know, but
they're
I
traumatized and
doubt
they
they
left.
signed up if they did. So,
You're making a point.
yeah, I'm making a point that this is essentially what you're doing when you're both on your knees just jockeying for a crappy position. Is you're both just hugging each other. You're kissing pickles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, hey,
What?
we got off topic about if sparring counts
Oh, yeah. So I'll
or
wrap
not
that up
sparring.
then. You're playing tummy sticks with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't play tummy sticks.
Right.
Just either practice your bottom game or like if the person
Try to
sits,
pass.
yeah. And if you guys are just gonna just concede. Someone concede.
Right. Fair point.
Yeah.
Now
It's more realistic to both be on your butts in a double guard pull
you feel
situation.
very strongly about this, and I understand.
Because I think people need to know the illustration was accurate.
Okay. So this was I'm just trying to fit some word.
He's just going.
We
off on a
coming?
tangent.
Oh, okay. It was a tangent that just fell off the. It was one of those branches that didn't have like a reconnection.
Yeah. So you don't need to worry about this person's opinion about whether
Okay.
or not
Yeah.
It counted.
Oh, thank you. That's
Thank
what
you.
I was waiting on.
Welcome to my brain.
Let's move on to the next one.
Okay. All right. How about this?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the big brains on you guys. What's the hardest belt to get? What is the hardest belt to achieve?
Kind of a cliche. I think purple belt.
Why?
We've talked about this before. And I think a lot of other people have too, about blue belt being kind of a rough one for people, where people tend to fall off and quit.
You finally had some success, but it turns out to be still really hard.
A big grind. Like, because white belt, you're like, okay, I just got to make it. I'm getting smashed, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, not only are still getting smashed, but now you have all the hungry white belts coming after you too. Yeah. And it's a grind, man. And purple belt, that's a big divide from blue to purple as far as the art itself. Yeah. I mean, because a lot of people, in my opinion, we've talked about this before too. I think a purple belt is an advanced belt.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
Yeah. So I think that gap is the hardest, I think. And I think purple's the hardest to get for many reasons.
Yeah. Livy?
Okay. So I used to think purple.
Okay.
But, and I understand like of the attrition rate, but I actually have now changed to, I think, brown.
Ooh.
And
is it because you're a purple belt?
Maybe. But the reason why I say that is because brown is almost black. Like basically everything that I've read everywhere, that brown is basically black belt level for the most part, but you have to refine details and get, you
you have a lot of black belt level
stuff.
techniques.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're basically right there. And a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people who get their brown belt, it's not a crazy amount of time to their black belt, generally speaking. But I feel like to go from purple to brown, I just feel like your technique, like the amount of knowledge has to be even more. Because for me, blue to purple, and maybe my experience was different, but I didn't think it was as crazy as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I felt like I was starting to pick up things so much quicker as blue. But it feels like
you're putting a lot of study time, extracurricular study time in though when you're in blue.
Yeah.
And
But,
plus, you're like Carrie and I, you also have a partner that also trains, and I would say obsessively.
Yeah.
About thinking about jiu-jitsu. I'm not saying this, but I just think just having someone that you live with that is also going through this, and I think that helps.
You can ask questions, you can bounce ideas,
as opposed to just slugging through.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I hear your point though. I mean,
I feel like my plateau, I did have some plateaus in blue, but I feel like my plateauing in purple feels longer than I had at blue ever.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
It's like one of those things where you're like, how do you get,
well,
do you know what I'm saying? Almost like you feel the stagnation.
Well, it's easy at purple belt too, because you're advanced now. You start doing kind of fun stuff. Typically, you'll really experiment because you can pick stuff up faster because you understand jiu-jitsu at this point. And you can kind of get stuck in that. So fundamentals kind of
take a back seat.
Yeah.
Well, and you know more, but you don't know it super well.
Right. And brown belts, their fundamentals are typically sharp. They're really sharp.
It's one of the things I concentrated on.
Right.
At brown was fundamental.
Yeah. And by the time you're a black belt, then your fundamentals should be razor sharp. Right.
Yeah.
But I think that can lend itself to being difficult to get from that purple to brown because maybe you're stuck in the barambolos.
I just
you're stuck in lapel.
The expectation to get to your brown belt is going to be higher. And not saying, I do think that purple belt does have high expectations, but I feel like that last one into brown from in colored belts is like.
And depending on your instructor, they might look for certain things from a brown belt that are difficult to achieve for you because it's just not your natural thing to do. So that's a good one.
It is good.
I am kind of stealing my answer. I wish I remembered where I heard this from.
Okay. I don't know
Excuse
what
you.
it is.
But I thought about it quite a bit. And it's a little silly. But I think the white belt can be the toughest belt.
Okay.
To actually start can be extremely difficult.
Oh.
It took me forever to just start. And I hear a lot when new people come in, they're like, man, I've wanted to for the last 5 years. But I didn't. And like whether it's pressure or anxiety.
I wonder how many people have wanted to start that never. It's one of those things that is uncaptured.
Right.
They wanted to start but never did.
Right.
Interesting.
And like, I think it's probably a really big number.
I think it probably is too.
Of people that had a genuine interest to where they're YouTubing stuff. They're YouTubing all the podcasts that, like, we've had an episode where we talk about best things to start for a white belt. And a bunch of other podcasts have that kind of stuff. Like, how to get started. Do you need to be in shape before you start? You know, this kind of stuff. They're doing all the research. Maybe even they buy a gi.
You're stuck in that prep phase.
Yes. Which is like the same in like business, right? There's so many people that get stuck on having the idea. They're not ready yet to jump on the idea. And then they get paralysis. They're just frozen by the idea of starting.
Very interesting. I think that's a good way to look at it. Right. I was thinking more of people that have already started.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually stepping in the door, getting your white belt. Because, I mean, basically every gym you are given a white belt when you start,
but that's huge. So,
yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I like that take on it.
Yeah, and I would be interested to hear what people say. How long until they knew of jiu-jitsu did it take them to start?
Mine was long too, but I had other reasons for, and maybe they weren't good
Was
ones.
UFC your intro to jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. But
As in when you became aware of a ground grappling art?
yeah, it was UFC 1.
Oh my gosh. A long time ago.
Yeah, I'm old. Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 93. I was 24.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but because I was going to start in 2006. That's when I really thought I was going to.
Where were you living?
I was in the military. I was in Virginia. There's a Pedro Sauer affiliate.
And you researched it?
Totally.
Did you ever go in and like?
No.
Check it out?
And, there's always excuses. I was a kind of a newer medical officer in the Navy, leadership positions. I was moving every 2 years, and I was like, well, I'm going to start somewhere, and
Yeah.
that
Like you have to like stay someplace.
And I didn't know, and it still was probably not the best reason, but yeah, for quite a long time. So that's probably 9 years of that.
Yeah.
Before I actually started. So it was when I left the Navy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then or where we're at now, Cascade, formerly Elite. Was that the first gym you
Very
ever
first
went
one.
into?
Very first one. And I did my research on that too.
Have you dropped into any other gyms before?
No.
Not like on vacation or visiting a family or anything?
No. When we do make it down to visit my daughter, I definitely am. She goes to a Six Blades.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the Bothell gym? You never went down there?
Oh yeah, you're right. I did.
Where like Mark was?
Yeah. And I went to a seminar down in Factoria, I think, too. Part of the Elite.
Yeah.
When it was Elite. Yeah.
Okay. So you just
Yeah, you're right. I did. I went to a seminar. I can't remember. I was a white belt, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm similar where I would say Aurelius and I started watching UFC probably 2000, right in there, I think. Because we were at our high school, we started a fight club.
Of course you did.
So there was one house that they started, the very first one, and they got in trouble because they were filming it with like their VHS, like the big shoulder camcorder thing.
Yeah.
And the person that was filming it was on the high school AV team, like audio.
Yeah.
So remember they would do announcements in the beginning of class, and all that. He was editing the video at high school on the system, the studio or whatever. And the principal walked in and was like, "What is this?" And you see teenagers boxing in a garage, probably 100 of them in there. But you see all the like red Solo cups. So then they busted him for drinking and all that kind of stuff. So there was a void because everyone liked Fight Club. Fight Club was very fun. So your boy here, I know my mom's listening, so I'm sorry, Mom. She caught us before, but she wasn't that happy. But we would host. My house became the host of Fight Club. So we had we'd plan like, okay, who's going to go against who and stuff like that. Then it got to the point where we had other schools. Meadowdale was coming.
You'd have like brackets and stuff, huh?
Basically, we had Edmonds, Woodway, and then Meadowdale, and then Mount Terrace people were showing up. It was crazy, and there was hundreds of people at our house. And I remember one time my mom showed up when
Probably because of liability.
Well, and just having like 150 retarded kids punching each other. And our driveway was full. We had a huge driveway, like a flagpole driveway. So it's like long and then a lot of parking area. And I just remember she's like, "Get the F out of here." I was like, "All right, guys, got to go." Everyone's got to go. So anyways, that was kind of we really started getting into combat sports. I realized it was a Taekwondo black belt. And so he was already into combat stuff too. And he goes to the Marines, and we're still watching UFC and stuff like that. And I started getting into like more like striking arts. And I remember jiu-jitsu just looking really cool. And then I started watching ADCC, I think around 2007. And
that was a good time to watch it.
Yeah. I actually was able to watch the China when they went to China, which is like, it's almost impossible to find any footage from that one. I remember on Budo videos, they were streaming everything. So I started watching them then, and then I started watching Worlds. So I didn't start training though. I dabbled. I went to one gym for a week, and I got my shoulder broken, basically, like the rotator cuff got destroyed after a week of training. At one gym, I went to another boxing gym that had purple belt teaching. He's part of elite named Joel. He's a black belt now. You know what I'm talking about? Joel Burris.
Sure.
He was a purple belt, and he was teaching. So I did like a little bit of jiu-jitsu there while I was mainly doing boxing. And I think I did a handful of classes there. But what we would do is my buddies, we would watch UFC. My buddy Wazin and Reed and these guys, we would put a tarp down in the grass, and then we would grapple in the grass after we'd watch UFC. Remember that, Lou?
I remember. Well, I don't. Yeah.
We put it in the backyard. We'd lay the tarp out. I think you'd usually be working when we do it, but yeah.
Yeah. I remember the first. I think the first UFC I saw was in 2005, and it was I think Chuck Liddell.
Rich Franklin or something like that?
Yeah, Rich Franklin.
They wouldn't have been against each other, I don't think.
No, I was actually looking back at some of the cards.
Yeah, we would watch Pride live and stuff like that. Oh, it was the
Matt
best.
Hughes, George St. Pierre,
Yeah.
Sean Shirk,
Sean
Riggs,
Shirk.
The muscle shark.
Nate
Yeah.
Corey,
Nate Corey, Evan Tanner,
Jeremy
R.I.P.
Horn,
Jeremy freaking Horn.
Dude.
That's some old school names right there.
Tiago Alves.
Yeah. So, we would try like mimicking what they were doing and just would roll with each other on the tarp in the backyard. It was hilarious. And Wazin actually just had an MMA fight this last weekend. Which
Really?
is crazy. Yeah. He's still getting after it, which is kind of crazy.
That's funny.
And he won by TKO. That's kind of cool. He trains out of Catalyst in Everett.
Oh, very cool.
But anyways, I did a week there. I did a month at RSU in Bellevue. And then we moved to Arizona, 2007-ish, right in there. And I did like...
Oh, wait.
A month or so at 10th Planet. And then other than that, just watched a ton until 2017.
Right.
It's crazy. Like, I was always just too nervous. I mean, there was a point where we were way too broke. We couldn't even afford it. We were going to school or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
But, it was just the nerves, man.
Yeah, well, it can be intimidating.
And I fell into the whole, I have to be in shape first.
Yeah, a lot of people think that.
Yeah. But it's the biggest misconception, I think.
Well, especially at a gym like ours. We
Yeah.
really watch out for people, try to make new people coming in. We're not going to.
Well, they have people to look up to like you, where it's like, you're not in shape. Like, it's all good.
All right.
Got him.
You did. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was
Slip
really
that in there,
good.
right into your butt.
That's all right.
Sorry, that was aggressive.
I want to fast forward when
Okay.
you're freaking old and decrepit. I want to see what you look like. That'd be fun if you could do that.
Yeah, like seem like one of those Snap or Instagram filters.
Yeah.
I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
So actually, that was the last question I had.
I got a question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Chris, this is for you.
Oh, are we getting medically?
Yes. Dr. Chris.
Doctor, physician, Professor Chris.
Oh, God.
What causes elevated homocysteine levels?
Okay.
First of all, what the hell is that?
So this is interesting. That's a really good question. So we've looked at homocysteine as what we call a biomarker of predicting cardiac events,
Okay.
heart attacks, things like that. We've always had this correlation that elevated homocysteine is bad.
Homocysteine?
Homocysteine, just how it sounds.
Okay.
It just means one. You know that, right?
Homo
Yeah.
means one?
Same.
Means same.
Same.
Means different.
Yeah.
You guys messing with me?
No.
Okay.
So anyway,
Onward.
so there's all kinds of this comes from science, okay, Bill? So homocysteine is interesting. It's part of the glutathione replenishment cycle. So glutathione is our natural antioxidant system. So glutathione is produced in elevated manner when there's something coming into the body, whether it's some kind of toxicant, even during infections where we need to fight off. Inflammation is always accompanied by something called oxidative stress, free radical formation.
We've talked about that a bunch.
We have. So we have internal systems in our bodies that are meant to combat that. And the glutathione system is one of those. Well, it's a cycle, excuse me, where glutathione is continually, as it gives off and donates these, I don't want to go into the chemistry, people will get bored, but it basically loses an electron to donate it to stabilize the free radical, prevent oxidative stress. It has to be recycled, okay, in recharge, so to speak. Part of this recharging process involves a bunch of different enzymes. So, where was the question? Is it
What causes elevated
what causes
level?
it? Okay. There are some genetic mutations they call single nucleotide polymorphisms, otherwise known as SNPs. So I can have an enzyme for something, and in this case, methyl tetrahydrofolate reductase, otherwise known as
MTHFR.
Okay.
So that is one of the enzymes involved with this, with folate. You've heard of folate?
Yeah.
Folate's part of this whole process too. So it's part of this cycle to replenish glutathione. So I actually have one of these. My enzyme has a mutation in it where it doesn't work quite as well to methylate, to do this whole process, to help in this replenishment. That's why it's important for a lot of people with these MTHFR gene mutations to maybe take a methylated folate supplement. That's a whole nother discussion. But when you don't have enough, if this enzyme isn't doing its job quite well, homocysteine is a secondary byproduct of this, where if it's not getting basically playing past the methyl group. If it's not getting what it needs, you'll start building up homocysteine as a byproduct. And then homocysteine itself can have some, and I have to look at the recent research on it. I think they have shown it does have some detrimental effects as a chemical itself, but more likely it's a surrogate for poor oxidative stress control. So if you don't handle oxidative stress well, you're more, so things like diabetes, like I said, anything that produces free radicals and inflammation also produces oxidative stress. So if you have systems that don't work well to combat this, you can have accelerated aging, increased risk of heart attack and stroke, things like this. So elevated homocysteine is a surrogate for that system not working well, is the bottom line. So what causes it many times, you can have dietary problems where you're not getting enough folate, which is part of one of our B vitamins. Or you can have a mutation in one of those enzymes where it's not methylating folate well, because then methylfolate is part of the whole system to replenish glutathione. So then you'd have to take pre-methylated folate. So in other words, you're bypassing a step, kind of. You're bypassing getting around it. And I do take a supplement. I do take a methylated folate.
Genetic piece, but then there could be nutrition.
Yeah, and people ask, well, then why is that? There's usually an evolutionary reason why. It's just very much like sickle cell anemia.
Okay.
It's not a good trait to have, but it actually protects against malaria. So there was a reason why that trait was passed on, because the humans, basically, when you look at a human body, it's meant for reproduction. If you look at the species itself, once you're past your reproductive years, it doesn't really care.
Oh, interesting.
So the trade-off is we're going to give you sickle cell to have you able to get through your reproductive years, and we don't really care what happens to you afterwards. So some of these other things may have an advantage in some other aspect, but at a detriment to somewhere else for longevity.
I see.
So there are tests for some of these things. You can get real down into the weeds. You can actually get a little neurotic with it, where it may or may not really make a difference in your health.
Right.
So what would be like symptoms of like having too much oxidative?
Yeah, oxidative stress goes along with inflammation. So, typically like, joint pain, things like fatigue, anything, if there's neuroinflammation, brain fog.
Autoimmune?
Oh, sure. Autoimmune disease generates a huge amount of oxidative stress because your immune system, that's how your immune system uses oxidative stress to kill pathogens, called a respiratory oxidative burst. These immune cells actually secrete large amounts of free radicals within something called a lysosome. They basically trap whatever bacteria or virus, and they actually destroy it with oxidative stress. So when you have your immune system attacking your body, you're getting huge amounts of inflammation and oxidative stress.
Would you say that the MTHFR is the root cause of autoimmune, or is autoimmune just a...
They have nothing to do with each other.
Okay.
I'm just saying that you could even argue that you're not able to combat. It'd be like if I had a place that had lots of fires and I had a really crappy fire department. That's what MTHFR. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. Your fire department's better,
right?
It's able to combat everything. So autoimmune disease usually starts in the gut. There's a complex system involved with that, to molecular mimicry. There's all kinds of reasons why that can and theoretically can start. But most of it starts there as some exposure to something foreign that then the immune system starts to recognize, that thing that's foreign is enough like one of the structures in my own body that the immune system now starts attacking, it starts mistaking part of your own body, whether it's your thyroid, whether it's your gut and celiac disease, whether it's your joints and rheumatoid arthritis, whether it's your lining of your nerve sheath and multiple sclerosis. You see, it depends on what it is that it's recognizing as foreign. So autoimmune just means it's attacking self. Yeah.
Cool.
So that was probably a little...
It was good.
Okay.
Yeah. It was educational.
It's the top of my head. I'm sure I'd have to go look at those pathways again, but...
Yeah, was that a humble brag? That was just off the top of my head.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, and
Just like yours was when you're like, I've only seen one other person learn as quickly as me.
It's not how I said it. Not how I said it, for the record.
I know, but it's so much fun to exaggerate.
You and Professor Andrew
Well,
are a bunch of exaggerators.
We are. I thank you for that compliment. I'm good company now.
Shush your butt. Hit that music lift. Like and subscribe. Comment. Let us know what's up. We're almost to 400 subscribers on YouTube.
I saw that. We're close, which doesn't sound like a lot for people, but I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. Yeah. Any questions? Let us know. grapplingwithpodcast@gmail.com or hit up like Instagram or our personal ones. apmedia.photos on Instagram. That's it.
Peace.